It's not up yet.
Not that stream. Look it on Twitch.
Oh. All right. We are live, ladies and gentlemen. We have episode 14 of the Linux Tech and Gaming Podcast. How is everybody doing tonight? I'm super excited because I got this brand new spanky in the ass 920, and man, this webcam is beautiful. I mean, I can already tell just looking at the preview, the video preview playback in my streaming software, how glorious it looks. I mean, it's just, oh my gosh. I mean, honestly, all three of our cams look great, in my opinion. Even Osiris with his inferior, whatever he's got. What kind of webcam do you got again?
It's the Logitech Pro 9000.
Pro 9000. All right.
Pro.
Well,
excellent.
Oh, yeah. All right. Well, I'm glad to be back this week, episode 14. As I said, we have some great topics to cover tonight, and usually, we start off the show. Basically, I'm Ubu, the tech guru, one of the co-hosts of the show, and obviously, if you're watching this on YouTube, you already know my YouTube channel, but we are also live on Hitbox or Twitch, depending on what your preference is for where you would like to view the live stream. So that's kind of a neat little feature. We also do have an IRC channel so that, you don't want to have to communicate with using 3 different services. You could just log on to our IRC server right on freenode. And the IRC server, I'm going to actually add it to the bottom of the stream here using my streaming software. So this will be interesting. It's irc.freenode.net. And then you just type in your IRC client, you would just type in /join space the pound symbol Linux Tech and Gaming, all one word. So my 2 co-hosts that join me every week, we have the Atomic Ass and we have Osiris. Why don't you guys say hello? Introduce yourselves.
Hey.
Hola, ¿cómo está? Yo es Osiris.
Oh, what the WTF?
Won't talk about it. You got to pick in many languages. We are global.
All right, sweet.
I'm the Atomic Ass, and you can find me on Twitter and YouTube and Hitbox and Twitch and all those good places. Go look in the links in the description.
Yes, that is true. On the YouTubes, in the description is all of our links. So, as I said, I'm excited for this week's show. We have quite a few topics that we want to go over with everybody. And usually the first segment of the show, we have the Atomic Ass cover a Linux game that he, decided to choose and play and share his, his experience about the game. So, Atomic, what game do we have this week?
This week we have Cogs, and this is a kind of a simple puzzle game. It's a slide puzzle. You mostly move around gears to start various pieces of machinery, and in some cases you have gears that control steam machinery.
Huh.
Kind of an old. It is kind of an old game.
Half-Life confirmed.
Yeah.
Is it? Go ahead. Well, you finish what you were going to say. It's an older game.
Yeah, it is kind of an old game. The resolutions are hard-coded, and they're all 4x3. And
I don't know how I feel about that. Almost feel like you're playing in an emulator when you play a 4x3 game.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like SN, NEX or whatever that emulator is for emulating Super Nintendo games.
Yeah.
Cogs. I'm gonna look it up on Steam, and I guess we should make sure. Is there audio for everybody? That's one thing that we forgot to verify here. That we have audio on YouTube and Twitch and Hitbox, because we are having a few little hiccups with the streaming software we're using, where audio syncs from Pulse Audio. Sometimes if the audio is shared between two scenes and you scene switch, for some reason the audio, despite it showing you that it's capturing your audio, it really isn't. So, can you guys hear me? Sound off in the chat if you can hear me, or
Unmonk says good on Twitch.
just let us know. All right, we have audio on Twitch, and that's even with the 30-second delay or however much delay we have. All right, thank you for confirming the audio. I was going to attempt to share Cogs with everybody. I don't know if I should be doing that or not. We'll do a scene switch already and screw up the audio. Is Cogs worth sharing with our audience? A picture?
Yeah, despite it being dated, the graphics aren't too bad.
All right. Let's do a scene switch here, and then I'll have to add in the audio and,
Oh. All right, let me point out that the Steam page for COG says Linux, obviously, but there's no system requirements for Linux. And for Windows, it requires #sys_req_26500_min. So I don't know what operating system that is, but it requires that. I think their page coding is pretty broken.
Yeah, I noticed that when I was looking at it earlier today.
And then about this game, it's app 26500 content.
Yep.
all right, we'll share a little Cog video with everybody. The live stream.
Will it actually
says
play?
loud and clear.
It
on
should
YouTube.
play, yeah. It should be playing. They should be seeing it. So it's kind of like a puzzle type. This kind of looks like it might be, if you're looking for a little brain teaser. How much is it?
$6.99.
Even, or is it's not on sale right now?
30. That's what 30% off.
Okay.
Everything's on sale. Everything must go.
Yeah, right. They're calling it an exploration sale. I thought that was kind of unique.
I don't know what that means. What does that mean exactly?
Well, I think since a couple of client updates ago, remember how they revamped the whole, how Steam finds games for you based on your game playing patterns?
Oh, yeah.
So I think that this new sale is really utilizing that new engine or whatever system that they incorporated to better find games that you'd be interested in based on your playing habits. So that's why I think they're calling it Steam Exploration, because if you click on it on the Steam Exploration, on the store, you scroll down, you can see check out recommendations for you. You see recommendations and your exploration sale. It says right there what all games are on sale that they recommend for me. So that's not
cool.
specifically every game that's for sale. Oh, by the way, everybody, this is actually a topic we're going to cover is the gigantic Steam sale. So this is just showing, I guess these are recommended titles for me. Then it has, it shows specials that for games that were on my wish list. And then you can scroll down further and get more, recommendation by category, whether it's an action game, a co-op game, or, what have you. It's so, I don't know, man. Steam, they really have come a long way. I think it's an outstanding platform, in my opinion.
Unmonk says that the system requirements are a potato.
Well, that's good. Pedro from what's it called? The Linux Gamecast could play it on his calculator.
Now, let's not be that generous.
Oh, okay. He couldn't even play it on that. So that thing doesn't even run as good as a potato. His computer.
I think that was
Probably not. But I bought this game back when Steam had just come to Linux, and it was just a little bit laggy on my Intel HD 3000 laptop. But that was back when the Intel drivers were still kind of not performing very well, and there have since been some updates to it. And the last time that I tried it on that computer, it ran very well.
Yeah. Just going to the Linux or the Steam Community Hub. The Steam Community Hub, for those of you guys that aren't aware, I mean, I'm sure you are. You're probably gamers here, but the Community Hub is great for solving solutions and issues that you might be having. So if you got some kind of weird issue in Linux and you're not sure where to start on what to troubleshoot, I suggest the first place you go is basically bring up the Steam overlay and go to the discussion tab and just type in Linux and do a search, and you'll get every time Linux is in one of the posts, you'll get a someone's bothering me on Steam. Sorry, I gotta let them know I'm busy.
While you're thinking about that, I'm gonna throw at you that it says you're still playing Binding of Isaac on Twitch.
Yes, that would be,
on
and on
Hitbox.
Hitbox. I was just gonna say.
You don't want to disappoint all those people coming to see Binding of Isaac gameplay.
Right?
Dragon Link says he made a computer with a potato, a tomato, and a calculator.
That's pretty beast.
I want to see a YouTube video on that, actually.
I do too. That sounds very interesting.
So I just thought I would go in here and just show the viewers, apparently back in February of 2013, Cogs wasn't starting on Linux, but then it was solved, So you can see the Community Hub is awesome on Steam as far as helping you solve any particular game issues you might be having, because it might be a specific issue to that specific game, whether it's maybe a sound library that it specifically uses or something, that maybe some kind of odd package you don't have installed, so on and so forth. So, just basically pointing out that the Community Hub on Steam is great. So right now you can get 30% off for Cogs and Atomic. So what's your takeaways for the game?
Well,
what you'd like to share?
Time waster. If you got time to blow, you got a laptop, put it on there.
Yeah.
You got something to do.
So there's no free games that are equivalent to this. I mean, so it's worth $7, I guess, is what I'm asking you.
Well, I got it on sale. I never buy things at full price.
Right. Well, right now, yeah, it's $7.
But I mean, I wait for deep sales, 75% off.
Right. Okay.
And I don't know. I might have gotten this in a bundle, so.
Yeah.
It also has a demo, a downloadable demo.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, shit. There you go. So if you're not quite sure and you want to check it out, you just download that demo, yo.
I think they've also made this for one of the mobile operating systems, either iOS or Android, maybe both.
Ew, iOS.
Actually, I might even be able to tell you. Put it.
All right, I'm gonna take us back to the other scene, and so just wait until I tell you we can start talking again, so I can remove and re-add the audio sources. I know this kind of sucks, but until this bug is patched.
Perv.
Okay, I got my stuff. everything dies?
No, just the audio. We're back. We're ready. So go ahead.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at my notes from when I did a Does It Run on Linux video for this, and it is on Android, iOS, and there is a cut-down version for very low-spec PCs called COGS Go.
Oh,
That's available
jeez.
from the website, which is www.cogsgame.com.
Are you fucking kidding me? How can they make any lighter of a version than what they've already designed?
No,
Or isn't that what you just said?
This it does have 4:3 resolutions, although this is actually a 5:4. It goes up to 1280,024. With all the graphics settings maxed out, it is putting a substantial load on my 750 Ti, and my Intel HD 4600 graphics that are built into my brand new desktop wouldn't be able to run at a smooth 60 FPS at that resolution. So yeah, it can require a little bit of power.
Yeah. Okay.
According to the COG site, the light version, I guess you can call it, is for, they say it's for netbook. Or budget PCs.
Oh, we actually have a viewer in the IRC channel.
Yep.
Hooray! People aren't totally ignoring it.
Yeah, that's kind of cool. That is a
Tech
first. Tech Torrent. Welcome to the IRC channel. We're gonna have to come up with a name for it.
Got a name.
Linux Tech and Gaming. Oh yeah, we'll just call it Tag. So we'll see you in Tag. You know what's going on in the Tag universe? We can say Linux Tech and Gaming.
Yeah, we can't very well call it the chat realm because that would be a copyright infringement.
Yeah, I can't believe you just said that. Actually, we're gonna have to cut that part out of the video in post editing.
Post editing.
What post editing?
The post editing that Osiris said that he would do to create all of our previous
Bro,
shows.
I ain't had no internet in like 2 weeks now. It's finally working.
All right, so I'll expect them all uploaded to a website tomorrow morning. All 14 episodes. You better get to work.
They'll be uploaded with my when my check gets here.
Right. All right, so we got.
You paying him?
He wasn't supposed to tell you. Yeah, Osiris, you just fucking damn it. I'll have to pay both of you guys. All right, so we got our first. Oh yeah, what else? Was there something else you wanted to cover about COGS? No, you pretty much wrapped it up.
Yeah.
All right, sweet. All right, our first topic is kind of an interesting one, and there's. If you guys haven't have ever heard about a movie called Interstellar.
I never have.
Interstellar movie. Let's see if it's on International Movie Database.
Well, I think it's one of these films that's kind of.
I mean, it's probably a.
It's at my local theater.
Holy shit! It's on IMDb. Interstellar. It's a fucking 2014 smash hit. No, I don't know if it's a smash hit, but the it's got the actors in it are like Matthew McConaughey. Oh, I've even seen the previews for this. Okay, yeah. The basis of the movie: a team explorers travel through wormholes in an attempt to find a potentially habitable planet that will sustain humanity. Probably because Earth is, basically we ruined it with all of our fucking pollution and shit. But anyway, the point of this story is that the wormhole in the movie was created using Linux. And you guys are probably like, what? They created a wormhole using Linux? Hell yeah, they did. The whole article, it's on Softpedia, and basically the scientific community is mostly using Linux currently, according to this article. And the same applies for production studios that work on movies. That's what they're claiming, So, you guys might say, oh, there's no way they use Linux to create movies, but I'm just telling you what the article says. And it's pointed out that the interstellar wormhole was designed on Linux. Let's see here. One of the main challenges of rendering a wormhole was the fact that it's actually a 3D object. Movies have taught us wrongly that wormholes look in a certain way, but Interstellar actually shows the best rendition of one. The Discovery Channel had a special show called The Science of Interstellar, which was narrated by the main actor in the movie, and in one of the scenes you can see some of the production team working on the wormhole, and they are running a Red Hat system. Some of the other scenes also feature Red Hat. So it looks like the producers actually use Linux to do some of the most important stuff. And then they have, in the video below, check after the 16-minute mark if you want to skip straight to the Linux part. So let's go ahead and share this with the stream. So wait until I tell you can talk.
Talk.
Yeah.
Oh.
All right. Yep, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I think where most people understand that what movie production is, usually you see post-production, and post-production usually gets done on OS X. But in production is getting done on Linux a lot of the time, especially rendering and 3D stuff.
Yeah, that's
pretty common.
That's something that I was curious about, because a lot of the stuff that gets.
Oh, are you kidding me?
is
The video
actually-
is not available in your country.
Yeah,
What a fucking joke. Like, really? How can
I saw
they...
that.
It's on YouTube.
America.
It's on the Discovery Channel.
Because America.
What the fuck?
Well, it's not on the official Discovery Channel YouTube page, so maybe that's the issue.
Well, I suppose I
Somebody
can
just
click on...
re-uploaded
There's 7 images. How do I...
But
There we go. Oh, it's...
What are you saying, Atomic?
Apparently, these are image... Oh, yeah, check it out. Right down there. See the picture, the bottom bar? They're saying that that's Red Hat?
supposedly.
It looks
But,
like Red Hat.
What I was going to
Oops.
say about this, it's not unusual at all to have scenes, 3D scenes in a movie be rendered in a Linux render farm. I'd say most of the AAA, most of the big movies
Yeah.
with CGI are probably rendered on Linux or macOS, with Linux probably being ahead in that department.
Yeah.
But as far as the actual workstations go, I think it's unusual to see Linux. And when I first saw this article, I thought that maybe they were probably doing it on Windows and rendering it on Linux. But it does look like,
Yeah, I mean, I
definitely
think...
GNOME.
Right.
The way I understood it is that
GNOME 2 even.
a lot of the
Oh, it's CentOS. A Reddit user correctly noticed that it's not Red Hat in the images, but CentOS.
How do you tell the difference?
Apparently this Reddit user... I don't know.
X!
the way I understood it was that a lot of the special effects and stuff like that were done on Linux or OS X, but I don't think a lot of post-production or editing stuff gets done on Linux that I know of, unless there's some magical editor out there I've never heard of. They have Lightworks, but I don't know.
Yeah.
That's recent.
Everything the articles I've read about Lightworks is that, they've produced big action, huge movies with it.
Yeah, but it just recently came to Linux, so those movies are not in the bowl.
Right. Yeah. All right, switching back. No, we're good.
Okay.
I don't mind doing it. I mean, just
Well,
as hopefully our viewers tell us, you know, hey, you don't have audio anymore. That would be awesome if you guys let us know, you know, if you all of a sudden can't hear us.
well, since we're going from view to view, can't you just stick an image in the scene?
Yeah, I could. I mean,
Uh,
and it would cover up our faces though and look
no,
tacky.
no. I mean, just keep it in the view, and then just put something up as a placeholder while you switch from one topic's window to the next.
We'll have to talk about it after the show. I'm not really
Okay.
sure what you mean. So I thought that was a cool article that I wanted to share with you guys, share with the viewers. You know, seeing this, you know, Linux used in, you know, real world scenario and in something Interstellar's. You know, that's not just some kind of local, you know, little rinky dink video, whatever. You know, it's look it up on IM International Movie Database. It's you know, I mean, it got 8.9 rating out of 10. It's, you know, like I said, Matthew McConaughey's in it, so it's a big movie. And you know, I just thought it was kind of neat that it was the wormhole itself was created using apparently CentOS, based on a Reddit user. So moving along, we have
Linux kernel 318.
yes, Linux kernel 318, and I didn't know how much we wanted to talk about this. You know, those of you that are using Linux now, depending on what distribution you have, you know, you're probably running 3.17, and maybe even, like, I know my LTS release of Ubuntu, or Xubuntu, is still way back on 3.13, believe it or not. I mean, you can get newer kernels on it by installing them from a PPA, but they usually, you know, Ubuntu, if you guys haven't realized yet, you know, it's a very user-friendly distribution, but it's very, very behind. You know, they are not up to date by any means with the various Linux packages that are in the wild, like based on, you know, where the source code is. I mean, you could look at any particular package, and you know, it could be a couple versions behind and missing the feature that you want. So, you know, that's why they came up. I think that's why they came up with the PPA system, which is Personal Package Archive, so that people could compile and create, you know, a newer version of a software, put it in a Personal Package Archive, a PPA, and then share it with their, you know, fellow Ubuntu users. And that allows, you know, before that, you pretty much just had to compile it yourself, which, you know, it's not difficult by any means if you've done it a few times and been through the headaches, and then, you know, it'll fail during compilation and tell you what header you're missing, and then you got to go and search, you know, your package manager for that -dev file in Ubuntu anyway. Arch doesn't even have -dev files. I mean, Arch uses the ABS, which is the Arch build system, and they use a software called Make Package, and it uses basically it just reads a package build file which has all of the commands to go get the source of the package, download it, configure and compile it, and install it all in one step. I mean, that's one of the things actually that I'm really loving about Arch, to be honest. You know, OBS Studio isn't available in the Arch repos. All right, let's go check the AUR. And the AUR is Arch User Repository, meaning any user can submit a package to the AUR, you know, and boom, you got your software. So I'm kind of getting off topic here, but, you know, I just wanted to mention that Linus, which is the developer of Linux, the kernel, his name is Linus Torvalds. He, you know, made some comments about kernel 3.18 release candidate 6. And he says the good news is that things are, you know, generally calming down, and most of the changes are smallish regression fixes here with a smattering of stable patches. About half of them are drivers, which are networking, sound, PCI, InfiniBand, with architecture updates, x86, MIPS, and ARM, and then some networking code being about half of the rest. So he says that really out of a whole lot of code changed, really not a whole lot of code changed, and if it wasn't for the pending trouble that some user found, he'd probably be perfectly happy. But there is, one smidge little error or issue that they're currently handling with the 3.18 release candidate 6 kernel.
Wait.
Which kernel are you running, Atomic?
Well, let's take a look.
And for those any viewers in the stream, that are wondering, basically the kernel is, the core of the system. It's basically what allows the communication between the hardware and the operating system. You're probably running 3.17-3.
3.17.3.
Okay.
And a bunch of other shit tacked on the end of it.
You're not running the standard. I'm just running the standard -arch kernel.
Well, yeah, it's Arch.
Oh. You don't have anything else besides -arch? Or you do?
317.3-1-Arch.
Okay, yeah, that's what I got. So, that's one of the things, the kernel, is what makes Linux Linux. At Windows, at the base of Windows, there is a kernel, right, Osiris?
Yes, there is.
Okay.
The NT kernel.
Right, okay. So Windows has, a core inside of it that allows it to run on the hardware, and that's the NT kernel, like Osiris says. Most end users, don't care or don't even want to know about a kernel because they just want, their fucking Snapchat app to work on their browser or whatever. But us Linux people, we are cognizant of the kernel because, there's kernel updates, which allows new hardware to work. And there's other things that change with the kernel that can affect the end user. So that's why there's, just like every package, it's got a version. You know what I mean? And so I was just merely sharing with you guys what the core or founder of the Linux kernel was telling us about kernel 3.18 release candidate 6.
If Linus Torvalds is to Linux what Bill Gates is to Windows and Steve Jobs was to Mac OS X.
Moment of silence.
Yes, moment of silence for Jobs. That is a great analogy, and that was good that you shared that with them. I mean, that's a perfect analogy.
I mean, that's it.
Pretty sure that's what an analogy is. Anyway, TechTorrent loves the AUR. I don't think I realized that you were running Arch TechTorrent.
The AUR is the best thing to happen to Linux.
Right.
Arch Master Race.
Yeah.
Hashtag that shit.
Arch Master Race. There you go.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I had a little bit of experience with package build yesterday and the day before. Basically, I spent 24 hours trying to get FFmpeg compiled with NVENC support, and my complete lack of just basic bash and basic, commands basically made me just fucking fumble through it like a fumbling idiot. So, I mean, the premises of a package build file is very simple and basic. All it is, is line by line a command for Arch to do. So first it says, all right, this package name is ffmpeg lib nvenc. Then the next thing is, you define where is it supposed to get the source code from, which is like a GitHub or a Git or whatever. Then it goes and gets that source and puts it on your computer. Then the next command in the package build, might prepare your environment or whatever. And then the next command is the configure. So that's what configures the source code. Then you have maybe some other preparation that has to be done. And then you have the make. And then you have the make, and it creates like a package, basically, like a zip, or think of it like a zip file, an archive of it. And then it finally installs it. And that's all done by simply using, probably 15 characters in the terminal, 15 letters. You just type in, Yowert is the command that can retrieve packages from the AUR. And, it'd just be like Yowert -S ffmpeg-full. And that would go and grab the full version of ffmpeg with every option enabled that's capable in ffmpeg and install it on your system that easily, that simple. So I know we've kind of gotten off topic of the kernel 318 R6, but yeah. So moving along to the next topic, we have the Ubuntu Developer Tool Center needs you to help rename it.
Why? That sounds like a perfectly good name to me.
Well, they just feel that it's too long. Saying,
Okay.
the Ubuntu Developers Tool Center, saying all that, I guess, is too long.
Okay, call it the Ubu Dev Tool Center.
Well, yeah, I mean, even UDTC is tough to get out of your mouth, I'm using the UDTC. So basically what they're asking, developers and probably, I'm not even sure if they're asking users.
Anybody.
Yeah, they're asking anybody, apparently, to, try to come up with a new name for the Ubuntu Developer Tools Center. They're looking for a name which, describes what the Development Tool Center is all about, its values, its philosophy, specifically what they are about developing on Ubuntu, not just for Ubuntu. So, that they strive to ensure that the tools made available via the Tool Center are always in line with the latest version delivered by the upstream developers, that they automate the testing and validation of this, so on and so forth.
Well, there's something they could do right there. Tool Center, what does that mean? We already have a word in the English language. It's called a toolbox.
I was just thinking the same thing, too. That's called a toolbox.
Yeah, just take the Craftsman logo off of a toolbox and put the Ubuntu logo on there.
I'm
looking
at this.
There's your icon.
Ubuntuals. Someone commented below, Ubuntools.
Yes.
That's actually not bad at all, to be honest. That's pretty, it's quick, it's concise.
I'm looking through the submissions, and I'm surprised nobody came up with a totally backwards, stupid ass name. They're all actually pretty decent. I was hoping for somebody to say something real stupid so I can call it out.
And you couldn't find one? Oh, man. Yeah.
The internet let me down.
If you have a great idea for a new name, please let us know by commenting on the Google Plus post. And how many... There's not even... Wow. There's only like maybe 20 comments.
Right. Apparently nobody cares.
Should that... Yeah, I was just going to say, should I be as surprised as I am?
No,
wow.
You shouldn't.
I don't know. I think that just really surprises me.
There's not that many people that code out of all the computer users in the world, and
the ones that do don't do it for Ubuntu.
Well, this Ubuntu toolset just was released like within the last month. So how many people are actually even using it yet?
Oh, so
Yeah.
before there was no center that had everything all together, you had to go and get all the tools yourself?
I mean, I
Exactly.
never heard of it before.
There's a KDE one, for Qt or QT or however you
Yeah,
want to pronounce it.
sure.
But Ubuntu's trying to take everything and package it together, so it's a place where new developers and old alike can say, "Hey, this is where I get started on Linux for developing," because Linux currently doesn't have a uh, a starting line exactly just to say,
But,
"Hey, you go get started there." Like on Windows, you say, "Go play with .NET or go play with Visual Basic." Easy way to get started.
well,
Uh,
Ubuntu already had the build-essentials package, which downloads like Make and CMake and all the tools that you need to for compiling software. But
we're
yeah, but
talking
this is different thing. I see what you're saying.
we're
Yeah.
talking like Newbie
Yeah,
and
IDEs and stuff, right? Yeah,
yeah, easy
exactly.
friendly stuff.
Gotcha.
Like Visual Basic, anybody can pick that up.
It looks like, well, this almost looks like it's specific to Android. It says here, it says they created the Ubuntu Developer Tool Center, a command line tool which allows you to download the latest version of Android Studio Beta alongside the latest Android SDK and all the required dependencies, which will
And
only ask for sudo access if you don't have all the required dependencies.
Android is a plugin for it. You can use it to develop for
It
Android among
enables
other
right,
things.
okay. It enables multi-architectural on your system if you are on a 64-bit machine, and it integrates with the Unity launcher. They focused on Android Studio, which is based itself on IntelliJ IDEA for now, as it seems that that's where Google has been focusing its Android tool development effort for over a year. However, the system is not restrictive, and it will be relatively trivial in the near future to add ADT support, Android development tools, which using Eclipse. So anyway, they want a new name for this Ubuntu Developer Tools Center. So if you are a programmer and you're watching the show, go and help them come up with a new name.
The best one was in the comments. Ubuntuals.
Yeah, I
Jump
think
on
I would agree. Because it's already Ubuntu, so tools, Ubuntools,
If you have to explain the joke, it's not funny anymore.
Yeah,
right?
why are you trying
That's a
to
good
explain
point.
the joke? You ruin it.
Yeah, I did. I ruined a lot of things. It's not very hard.
You broke everything.
Yeah, I broke the internet. Just curious, on the stream, can you guys hear the whirling that just started in the background? That would be my furnace, and I'm just kind of curious if that's coming through the mic. Osiris and Atomic say they can't quite hear it, but I'm wondering,
I'm
I'm
not
just
hearing it because you're getting cut off in the mumble. But
oh yeah, Mumble's got a built-in gate, right?
Techie Ross says yes.
Okay,
you can hear it. It's just not obnoxious.
all right. Well, I can go and flip the switch and turn the furnace off, and I won't freeze to death because it's only for like an hour. But,
Plus, you're in the basement.
yeah, I'll do that. Osiris, why don't you cover the next topic, since you're kind of familiar with it?
Booyah.
You played it anyway. I'll be right back.
All right. So next we got zero AD progress report. So basically, Zero AD is still trucking along after all these years. They're still developing and making the open source gaming world good for all and awesomeness. But they say they need more developers and to join and help in for the cause. There's a thread on Wildfire Games where you can go submit, I guess, join in or whatever it is you want to call it, and help contribute to this. I would like to see this game get done. This is probably one of the better open source games there is, and has been around since before Steam. They're looking for illustrators, graphic designers, video editors, a credits page coordinator. I don't know what the hell that really means. scenario designers, documentation managers, sound leads, um, which looks interesting actually.
Oh, there you
Um,
go. You want to do
3D,
some sound work, Osiris?
no, not really.
All right.
uh, 3D animators, 3D modelers, and texture artists, gameplay, AI, sound, and graphic programmers.
Jesus,
Uh,
what do they have? Just one person right now? Sounds like they need everything.
yeah,
Holy shit.
I'm gonna assume that it's probably a pretty small team to begin with, and
Wow.
this game, like this game is, like I said,
This-
one of the better open source games, and it is a pretty large scale. I don't know if I would say, I would almost say it's on the scale of Civ 5. It's almost that good. It's just very incomplete, from what I remember. I haven't played it probably in a year at least, but so they need help if you know how to do these things, these professional things.
And from the comments, Zero AD has got to be one of the only free software game projects in history where getting art is not a problem, but getting coders is.
That's true.
Should
This game
we share some of the screenshots with the stream?
If you
Yeah.
have
What the
some,
hell,
I
right?
don't see, I
Yeah.
don't see 'em.
We'll share
But
some.
yeah.
Grass. Wow.
So here we go. We're looking at Zero AD, and it's a RTS, right? Turn-based RTS.
Right.
Are you serious? Their arrows don't go. Yeah, they don't go to the next picture. That sucks. Wow, this picture's entitled Destruction. You just see blood and dead bodies everywhere. Elephants trampling over people.
Well, that'll do it.
It's definitely a game worth a look.
It does look. I mean, that whale though. It looks. I personally have never gotten into an RTS just because it's along those lines of games that's just I don't have the patience for it. I tried to play Strife, which is similar to Dota 2 and similar to LOL, League of Legends, and I just don't have the patience or I don't know, you need to really understand attacking and all this shit and I don't know,
Just
like
to be those are just to be clear.
those are not similar games. I'm not trying to compare
Yeah,
the game style. No, I wasn't trying to do that. I was just trying to say both game styles, LOL, Dota 2, and Strife, that kind of game style, along with this one, RTS, turn-based RTS, whatever, and building kind of villages, like even Civilization 5. I just don't have the patience to get into it. And I'm probably just limiting myself, in the games that I play because of that. I just don't give it a try. Like, for example, I would have never purchased. Oh shoot! I still didn't update the stream titles. Binding of Isaac. I would have never purchased that personally, but it was given to me by one of my viewers or supporters or whatever you want to call them. And he's an awesome guy. He provided that to me, and I decided to try it out. And actually, it's fun. So I need to stop, I need to just pull up my pants and just probably give the game a try. If it's free, if AOD is free or whatever,
080.
I'm sorry, Zero AD.
You do need to pull up your pants, though. You don't want them seeing that shit on stream.
On the forums
Submissions of what? What do you mean?
for the various positions.
Oh, sure. Well, what's our next topic?
Put your keyboard experience.
Yeah.
Ah, okay. Well, I got the Hitbox title update done. I'm just trying to do the Twitch one real quick here.
All right.
So, my experience with a mechanical keyboard. Well, I got the Hitbox title update. It's been awesome. Previous to this, I had only used a mechanical keyboard by accident, and that's because it was an old IBM mechanical keyboard, you know, and realized that only because Osiris pointed it out to me. So this was, this is the Poseidon Z by TT Esports. Here it is, showing the stream. It's got the Khalil brown switches in it, so they're not really Cherry MX ones. They're Khalil, which, according to Osiris, are very, very comparable to Cherry. They're just not Cherry. He says all the big keyboard wizards out there, say that the Khalils are pretty damn good in comparison to the Cherries because, and they're cheaper. So that's the reason that I went with this one, is because I did not want to spend a lot of money, but I was sick of the freaking... my old keyboard is just an old, Dell black cheapy $5 one that was still actually PS2 was the connector. And Osiris and Atomic complained a lot about how loud it was when I was typing. And now, so this keyboard... one of the cool not really cool feature, but you can, by holding the function button and then pushing F12, I can actually turn the, there's no LED display anymore. It doesn't have, it's blue all the time. You can't change the color, which I thought I could, but that's no big deal. Osiris quickly pointed out that those keyboards cost a lot more money because they're supposedly like LED, but it's got 3 different brightness settings. I don't know if you can if that's really picking up on the stream, but it's got, so you can change the brightness of the keys.
And the reason I recommended this one is because you don't need any Linux drivers for it. Everything is hardware controlled from the keyboard, so don't have to worry about those Windows drivers.
Yep, and then it does have a button for disabling the Windows function key,
which we don't really need.
Well, aren't there some Linux games? Or the Windows function key it's not automatically mapped to something in Linux?
Not in KDE.
Depending on your distro, right? Okay.
It depends on the desktop environment, because some desktop environments will utilize that key for the start menu if it has one. Others will use as a modifier key, so you might need to press another button to make it do something.
Oh, sure.
In KDE, I have, well, in Linux in general, what is called the Windows key is actually called the meta key, and I have meta R bound to opening up a dialog for the run interface.
Yeah, I think if I were to map that key to anything in Linux, it probably would be, I don't know, off the top of my head, actually, I can't even think. Because there's nothing, I use the mouse, pretty much for everything.
Now, of course, you haven't put any real time on that keyboard in what it's designed for, and that is gaming.
Right. Yep.
So you've got a good gaming mouse, you've got a good gaming keyboard. you need to put some time in playing some first-person shooters that don't support a controller in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah. Well, the one that I can think of right off the top of my head would be that Western one. What was that we've played a couple times together?
Fistful of Frags.
Fistful of Frags, yes, thank you. That's the one that kind of comes to mind.
Which you can find free on Steam.
Yep.
And it's a source-based game. Go download it. Fun.
Yep. So I would definitely rate my experience so far being my first real mechanical keyboard. Besides, an old IBM, is phenomenal. I mean, I love it. I am, however, going to be getting some basically dampeners, O-rings that kind of dampen, the sound a little bit. I went with the Browns because I actually don't really want a super loud click, because I do a lot of typing, a lot, like on forums. I'm very active in a lot of different communities, so I do a lot of typing. So I didn't want, the amount of feedback that I get with the Brown is actually perfect. It took me a little bit of time to get used to at first. I didn't really like it at first, but I quickly became to like it. I mean, I'm already in love with it. And I go to work and use a rubber dome, and it's just hilarious. It's night and day. It's night and day. It's amazing how different it is. I don't know how I lasted on that old Dell freaking thing for as long as I did, to be honest.
Didn't know any better.
Yeah, exactly.
It's listed as being the same actuation force as the Cherry Reds.
Brown.
Okay.
Yeah, the brown switch. But it's weird. It doesn't feel like it to me. I have my little switch tester here in front of me.
Ah, show the stream.
This was on Mass Drop a few weeks ago, and I think you might be able to see it. I have a green switch, a blue switch, clear switch, brown switch, a red switch, and a black switch in this key tester. And based on this, I have pretty much confirmed that I want to stick with reds for a gaming keyboard, but for a typing keyboard, I think I'm going to go with greens. I like that nice stiff click. Maybe clears if they're available.
I haven't seen too many clear keyboards.
Yeah, I think the only people actually putting them out are WASD, and they're always sold out. Always. They're backlogged like 6 months.
Yeah. They make all the custom ones, for those who don't know. They make completely custom keyboards to suit your needs. Like a build your own keyboard site, kind of.
They don't have custom keyboards, but they have custom keycap sets. And you can get those with your keyboard.
Right, okay. Yeah, that's
the
what
keyboard, the base keyboard is actually very stock. They only have 4 different ones.
Right. So I mean, if you want the stealth keys with no silk screening on them of the letters and stuff, you can get that. You can get them in different colors. You can get all kinds of stuff. You should check if you're looking for. If you're checking out a mechanical keyboard, you should give WASD a look. Also, I would say
they're a little bit more expensive though.
Yeah.
What's a scissor switch? Somebody in the Twitch chat said that they never used a mechanical, but they use a scissor switch.
Scissor switch.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, obviously, it's not. Is that rubber dome?
It's not a buckling spring, is it? Another name for a buckling spring?
I'd have to Google it. I'm not sure. Scissor switches.
Sure. But the keyboard that you were talking about, which was probably a Model M based on your description, it had a real echoey.
Wait, a scissor switch looks like it's just the switch from.
It's the one from the laptop keyboards.
Yeah, from laptops, right? Yep.
Really?
Yeah.
That's a scissor switch?
Yep. That's what I was saying. I did this on the screen. I did it like a scissor action because it pretty much kind of is like a scissor, goes up and down.
Well, yeah,
I mean, there's just like there's a rubber dome under the scissor.
Yeah, well, then it's just a rubber dome. The scissor just, I guess, makes it have less travel.
My server keyboard is actually it's a scissor switch type keyboard. That's the one you don't ever hear because it's so quiet. Well, you can just barely hear it,
Yeah.
depending on how angry I am when I'm typing.
Which usually you are very angry.
Right?
Man, how can I not get this thing working? I've been working on it for 12 hours.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Well, you know, it just takes you a little longer.
Yeah, I am a little slow.
But for those who want to get into mechanical gaming keyboards, I have to recommend 10 keyless, as I'm showing here,
Yeah.
because this actually puts your left and your right hand closer together when you're gaming.
Right.
And this particular keyboard is the Corsair K65. It's gone up in price, but I managed to get mine when it was on sale for like $60. It has Cherry MX Reds, which these are linear switches. They don't have any click or tactile bump or anything, and they're excellent for gaming. So a great introduction to mechanical keyboards.
All right. Yeah, I mean, I still use the keypad a lot, the number pad or whatever you want to call it. So I had to go with, you know, a full keyboard, not a 10 keyless, whatever, however Atomic just referred to it as.
Yeah, 10 keyless is the correct.
Okay. Yeah.
But you look like you have a little bit more of a wingspan than I do.
Wingspan.
Are you saying I'm fat? I mean, you know,
wings.
if you're gonna just say it, then fucking flat out say it. Don't like
Well,
skirt
yeah,
around
you
it. Just, Ubu, you're fatter than me, so you need the number pad. Just say that.
I know I
No.
don't mind having a number pad because I'm tall. So I have that quote unquote wingspan also. And I need my number pad.
I mean, I can reach a far bit away, but I'm most comfortable when my hands are. I actually have my mouse behind my arrow keys. That's how close together my hands are.
Wow.
But then I'm also sitting
Holy
here
cow.
with the keyboards on my knees, and I've got one of these little lap desks with a mouse pad on it.
For your wrist or in your hand right there, yeah, for it to rest. Right.
So
My
you can just
setup's really totally weird. Like my keyboard is down on a rollout tray, but my mouse is up on my main desk.
Yeah,
So if
that's
some
weird.
gamer saw me, he'd probably like curse me out for having it like this. But, you know, I don't know. I use a controller.
Yeah, you can kind of see my rig here at the bottom.
Right, yeah,
laying on
I
my
can
leg.
tell. I can see it, yep. So you're, yeah. Huh. Cool. All right, well, that we just, it was Atomic's idea to kind of share my experience so far with mechanical keyboard. It's been great, and if you look into it, you know, and you start looking into all these different switches, and you'll see Cherry MX, you know, and you're going to pay a price for those switches. So basically, Osiris linked me to the particular keyboard because he knew that I wanted to spend less money and still get good quality switches. So these are, like I said, they use the Khalil switch, which look up any, you know, major tech YouTuber or whatever, and Osiris says that they speak highly of the Khalils.
And it has a 5-year warranty.
And it has a 5-year warranties. All right.
Warranty.
So moving on to the next topic, an article from our favorite article writer, Phoronix. Oh my gosh. They release benchmarks of the latest Mesa 10.5 graphics stack from the development branch, and you know, he's basically says that it's yielding performance improvements for newer AMD GPUs.
Finally.
Right, but here's the kicker. You know, as Cyrus always points out, it's clickbait. He didn't freaking benchmark. He only benchmarked one of the newer AMD GPUs.
7950 and a 270X.
Correct,
And a,
which is only GCN 1.0. So he didn't benchmark GCN 1.1, which would be like your R7 260s, your R9 290s. He didn't benchmark GCN 1.2, which is your R9 285. And then he didn't benchmark any the older like TerraScale 3 cards, which would be all your HD 6000 series. And
Well,
I'm pretty sure he has a card in each of those categories.
Well, he did the 6570 and the 6870 according to him. I don't see him in the benchmarks though, but maybe I'm missing something.
Oh, no. Okay, yeah. I didn't see him in the benchmarks either. Where does he say that he did those?
On the first page, and if you look down the side of the actual benchmarks, it says 6570, 6870, 7950, and 270X. But it looks like, what did he do? Average them out? I don't understand this.
Right? Let's not even. The point is, I wanted to share this with everybody just to point out that, if you are running a particular AMD graphics card, which would be GCN 1.0 based, GCN stands for, help me out, Osiris. I'm trying to think now. I'm tongue-tied.
Wish I knew, but I do not know. Graphics Core Next.
Yes, thank you. It stands for Graphics Core Next. So it's basically kind of like, think of it like the architecture, more or less. I mean, I'm sure there's going to be people watching saying, oh my God, you're completely wrong. But, it's kind of like the basis of the card. And so if you're running, a GCN 1.0 type card, or even probably a TerraScale 2 type card, which would be, did I note down, let's see, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I forgot to write down in the article which cards those all are. Like which islands they're from. I mean, AMD does a great job of fucking confusing people as far as I'm concerned.
Yes,
They got code names, then they have architecture, and then they have, the actual name, and it's fucking getting to be ridiculous. So what I'm trying to get at is the GCN 1.0 would be all of your, let's see here, your Southern Island cards, except for the 7790. So all of the Southern Island cards, which are HD 7000 series, are all GCN 1.0, except for the 7790, which is GCN 1.1. So if you're running, that type of card, or the older card, which is based on TerraScale 2, and that would be TerraScale 2 would be evergreen cards. So if you're running either one of those type of cards, then you want to definitely look into running Mesa 10.5 from the development branch with kernel 3.18. So you're starting to get pretty bleeding edge, So if you're a Linux noob, I probably wouldn't suggest going down this path. The closest you'll probably be able to get to this is using, if you're using Ubuntu-based distro, there's 2 different PPAs that you could try out. The Xorg Edgers, which provides updated Mesa as well as updated graphics driver, or there's the OIBAF PPA. It's spelled OIBAF. And you would just enable one or the other of those PPAs. You'll get an updated Mesa graphics stack and an updated Radeon driver, and you should see improvements. Now, I don't know how current, those PPAs are pulling Mesa from, but, these benchmarks that were done by Michael Larabelle at Phoronix were done using Mesa 10.5 from the development branch.
I will also point out that it's funny that the southern island, the sea island, the volcanic islands, which would be the 285, with the Tonga GPU, do not get the same exact improvements in Linux as the drivers are updated. It's kind of weird because the NVIDIA and Intel, I believe, well, Intel doesn't have a lot, I guess, but NVIDIA, especially, anything that's 600 series and above is supported exactly the same way. And it gets the same improvements, well, as far as I've seen. So
Well-
it scales well across generations. Whereas
Oh, sure.
the different islands or whatever the hell these are,
Right.
they don't scale like so. If the 270 got an improvement, that doesn't necessarily mean that the 290X got the same improvement.
Correct. Yep. And that's kind of why I know all the shit that I was just spitting out might have been hard to follow, but I did want to make note of it precisely because, Osiris brings up a great point. Like, the 270X, according to Michael Larabelle, saw a great improvement. Oh shit, I got a 290X. I'm going to use this and see and I'm going to have better graphics. No. Not true. You have the 295X and not see improvement. And it's because Michael Larabelle was so lazy. He even says in the comments that he had a 290X sitting across the room, but he decided not to benchmark it. What type of... this is the same argument that you bring up. There's no scientific basis for the benchmarking.
Right.
So this article is useless to an AMD user.
Right.
If he's got any card besides the exact cards that they benchmarked.
Yeah.
It almost seems like he benchmarked it based on... Someone made it, a comment in the comment section that it looked like he benchmarked it based on the year the card was released. Like one from 2010, one from 2011. Like, who does
terrible.
benchmarks based on year?
That's
Yeah,
terrible.
it's totally terrible. I'm not saying that's what he did. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to, say how he did his benchmark. But I am saying that he specifically said in the comments, I didn't do a 290X because it was across the room. That was his comment. What the fuck?
If you would have to stumble over 3,000 other graphics cards to get to that 290X, I could kind of see that.
Well, if he wants to be reputable as
Right.
a hardware
Yeah.
benchmarker,
Yeah,
I'm
need
sorry,
to... Right.
but that chipset, the 290X, is a flagship chipset that needs to be represented, and
the fact that it's a different chipset or architecture than the 270X that he did benchmark.
right, exactly.
Yeah.
It's not even the same chipset, and it doesn't get the same. Like I was pointing out, in my own experience, they don't get the same improvements across driver updates. So that's I don't know. I don't even know what to say about this. Just gonna leave it alone.
Right? So I just did want to cover it, not necessarily because, Phoronix covered it, but I wanted to cover it for the fact that, if you are running a GCN 1.0 or a TerraScale 2 based card, then I would suggest looking into updating your Mesa graphics stack as well as your Radeon driver. And like I said, the two easiest ways to do that would be the Xorg Edgers PPA or the OABOF PPA. Those both provide updated Mesa as well as updated Radeon driver. All right, so that covers that topic. How's the chat in the various sites? Any activity?
Alive and well on Twitch. Nobody on the hitbox.
All right. In the YouTubes?
YouTube looks like most of the people migrated to Twitch.
Okay. All right.
We got a few people in the IRC.
Yep, the IRC I have open. That's the point of the IRC, so I don't have to have three. While I'm managing the show or whatever, I can just look at IRC. So, right. But the IRC is in its infancy. We've only had it for I think 2 shows now. We've had it up for 3 shows, but we didn't mention it the first time we had it up. But anyway, so moving on to the next topic, we have Linux malware is real. Malware. Okay.
Real, y'all.
It's real, y'all, and you're probably like, what? Everybody's told me that Linux doesn't have viruses, doesn't have malware. Well, guess what? It does. But
Android
here's
is
the
not
kicker.
Technically Linux.
Here's the kicker. I was getting there. You cut me off. This
That's a good
is
segue.
mobile. This is mobile malware, and it affects Android. Any Android, apparently.
What
Any
you need to
Android
do-
OS.
Go out and get some Magnum condoms and stick your phone in there.
Done deal, right?
Do it.
Protect your phone.
Protect your phone.
Yep. So the malware is called Not Compatible, and there is a new C version of the malware that's targeting Android devices, and it's very difficult to stop, apparently. It's not that hard to avoid, but apparently once you get it, it's a very bad day for you.
I will point out that because Android is popular, it is obviously now a target
Yep.
for people who want to do malicious type of activities to your device.
Yep. I mean, what it does, sorry, were you done?
Yeah, I was just gonna say nothing is immune to being targeted. Now, whether something is more secure or not, that's a whole different topic. But of course, now that Android's been popular, but because it is popular, now people are like, yeah, let's go ahead and do stuff to that.
Exactly. I mean, that's one of the reasons that, Linux doesn't have that many issues with it, because the amount of Linuxes that are out in the world that can be affected is way, way smaller than the amount of Windows out in the world. So what this virus or malware does, it, let's see here. I had it up. Damn it.
You lost it.
Once an infected mobile device is brought into an organization, the attackers can use the not compatible C proxy feature to scan the network for vulnerable hosts or to exploit vulnerabilities and search for exposed data. I mean, this is a fucking serious malware. It has observed hundreds of corporate networks with devices that have encountered the Trojan. Let's see what else did I read here? It said it's used to spread spam campaigns on Yahoo, Comcast, AOL, and Live for bulk ticket purchases on Ticketmaster, Live Nation, Event Shopper, and Craigslist. It's also used for brute force attacks against WordPress and for C99 shell control, where the attacker logs onto the OS shell and performs various actions. That's fucking crazy malware right there, dude.
I'm sure it's not funny for the people it happens to, but that's pretty fucking funny.
That's one serious fucking malware. It has a two-tiered server architecture. The gateway command and the control server. It uses load balancing. It filters and segments infected devices from different IP address regions geographically. Only authenticated clients are allowed to connect to the server. Oh my gosh. Once a device has made contact with the operational C2, it downloads a list of other infected devices or clients. Wow. Anyway, so you do not want to get this. And the way that you do not get this is, according to this researcher, do not ever allow your Android device to install an untrusted package. It says here the two ways to prevent it. One way is to install a product like Zimperium, which protects against spear phishing and browser-based attacks by looking at the behavior of the device when the malware tries to run on it. Another is to use a URL filtering solution that detects known C2 devices used by botnets and blacklists them. but this only works once the attack has compromised the device and begins to phone home. So basically, the best way is to not install, any non-trusted packages in your Android phone or Android device, I should say. It's not just phones.
You would think that would be common sense by now, but obviously it's not.
Hell no, it's not. I mean, like I said, the little 15-year-old wants Snapchat, but it's not supported on his device through the regular Android repository. So he'll go to a website and say install, and boom, he's infected.
For some reason, in the era of always-on broadband, people are still downloading porn dialers.
What the hell is that again?
Yeah, that was back in the old modem days. It promised to dial you into a dial-up host that was specifically serving porn, but really what it was a Trojan horse virus.
Oh, right.
And
Cannot connect to dial-up modem.
they're not gonna.
Yeah.
Where's my porn? You lied to me.
I used to when I used to do in-home, I guess you could call it in-home like support calls for people. I would find the weirdest stuff on people's computers, and that was funny enough. But when they gave me their children's computers, that's where all the funny really
alarming.
Was. Nah, I just thought it was funny. I don't care. I don't care what your kids do.
Well, yeah, I fixed a couple people's computers where I had to completely reformat the drive. And in the process of copying everything off onto an external drive, I saw some naked pics.
I wouldn't call that alarming. I thought it was funny that the parents had no like. There was a kid who had his password was beef eaters.
Oh wow!
The parents had no idea what that meant. I was like, oh, well, okay. I'll type that in there.
Yeah, all right.
I'll just go ahead and type that in. I didn't say anything. I'm not there to interfere. I'm just there to fix computers and leave.
Right.
Well, your child has pictures of zoophilia on his computer. That's just normal.
Zoophilia?
Zoophilia.
Yeah, I don't think I want to know what that is.
What is that, like the fetish of eating assholes?
No.
All right.
I think we should leave that alone.
Yeah, we won't touch that. So I just thought, I would share that little bit of information with everybody. Since there might be some people with some Android devices. And if you didn't know before not to install untrusted packages, now you know, because you're watching the Linux Tech and Gaming podcast.
Booyah.
And there's Tomic showing you his Android tablet he recently picked up, which he's probably already got not compatible on there.
Oh, God damn it does.
I've seen the funniest thing in chat. Did you see that?
I don't know where we're looking. On Twitch?
My dad goes to me last month. Every time I click on anything, my computer porn shows up in the pop-ups. I don't know why. Oh, Dad. Let's all act like we don't know what happened here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Welcome to the stream, by the way, Chef Soren. All right, so moving on to the next topic, we have Canonical signs a strategic agreement with Meizu. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right.
Some Chinese stuff.
Yeah, basically it's a Chinese phone manufacturer, and we're looking at an Ubuntu-based phone in early 2015. It was actually originally, announced or whatever that it was going to be released this year, but I guess it's been revamped because there's still like one last contract to get finalized. So it's not looking like until early 2015 for the first Ubuntu-powered product. And looking at, you're probably wondering, well, who's going to buy an Ubuntu-based phone? Well, that's a great question. So we probably should look at what type of hardware does Mizzou already have. They have a phone called the MX4, which it's most likely going to be what's going to be running Ubuntu. You know, it seems like it's a pretty decent phone. It was released in 2000. It was released this year in September.
It looks coincidentally a lot like an iPhone.
It does kind of actually. You're right. Now that I look at it,
It looks just like an iPhone, an Android iPhone, like if they had a baby.
here we'll show the stream this stuff. All right, audio is added back in. All right, so this is an M4. Here's the pictures.
It has a non-standard resolution. What is this 1152 by 1920 shit?
Chinese.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
It's got the camera right in the center. I don't know how I feel about that. On the back side.
I don't think I would be very, very surprised if this phone was released in North America. First of all, look at the rounded corners. Apple has a distinctive patent on rounded corners that look like that. The little dot in the middle, this thing looks too much like an iPhone. I can see Apple jumping all over this and eating it and then spitting it out.
Hang on. What? You're telling me that there's not an Android phone currently in America that looks like this? I guarantee there is.
Unless it's a knockoff that slipped under the radar.
Well, I don't know. I mean, the specs of... So you don't think this is going to even make it to America?
Not looking like that now.
Huh.
They're gonna have to make it. They're gonna have to make it look at least a little bit different. Anything that gets released that looks anything like an Apple device in America immediately gets jumped on by the Apple powerhouse lawyers. They eat patent people for breakfast all day, every day. That's all they do. Between Apple and Samsung, there is no room to create anything new anymore, at least in the mobile market, because they keep doing that type of patent trolling.
Yeah. Well, it looks like maybe that's why the original Ubuntu Edge that they tried doing a Kickstarter for was completely square, didn't have round edges.
Let me
remember that? Do you remember the Ubuntu Edge?
I remember it.
No?
Oh yeah. I thought that looked pretty slick though.
So did I.
We have an
yeah.
HTC.
Okay, yeah. But anyway, it looks like a pretty capable phone. You know, micro SIM, quad. Is it a quad core Snapdragon? Probably. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know, so it looks very capable.
2 gigs of RAM.
All the different networks, obviously. So just not Verizon, basically.
Not Verizon.
I don't think. I don't see CDMA on here. I only see the GSM.
So it's not a world phone.
Correct.
Well,
I mean, I could be wrong in how I'm reading this. 4G
thought-
network, LTE 1800.
I thought CDMA was supposed to be 1G or 2G.
I don't know.
I'm not sure what Verizon's newest, Verizon LTE, what the term is for that. I'm a noob as far as that goes.
I just call CDMA the phones that don't need SIM cards.
Same with me, right? Yeah, right. Yeah, Verizon's the only network that has this other weird thing, right? Or am I wrong on that?
It's Verizon and Sprint have the CDMA phones.
Okay, all right, gotcha. And all the other ones use the GSM?
Yes.
I mean, apparently, looking at this now, 4G networks are totally different names than what I'm previously used to know them as. I guess now it's called LTE 1800, LTE 2100, LTE 2600, bands 1, 3, and 7. But anyway, it looks like the M4 16 gig model is $400. And it does say it's an international phone, Atomic. So, I don't know. But, it's interesting. I just thought I'd point it out because, Linux, Ubuntu on a mobile phone. I don't know if anybody out there would be interested in that. currently, believe it or not, you can actually get Ubuntu is actually providing in a repository images for certain devices currently right now. So I'm actually in the process of looking for a Nexus 4 because that's one of the very few devices that actually supports everything about Ubuntu Mobile, and straight from the server, the image server.
I did see a live stream with Michael, what's his name? Michael Shuttleworth? Mike Shuttleworth?
Mark Shuttleworth.
Mark Shuttleworth. Anyway, I say who is the boss of Canonical who runs Ubuntu. And they said the reason they targeted the Nexus 4 was because it is a very medium, middle of the road hardware at this moment in time. And if it runs on that, it should run great on new stuff. Just wanted to put out what he said and why they targeted Nexus 4.
Yeah.
Which you should be able to get for a pretty decent price these days.
Yeah, I think from what I saw, people were asking for, anywhere from $150 to $185 for a used Nexus 4.
Yeah, not bad. It's not too bad.
Well, I will put this out there for all of the networks to listen to. I'm not going to get a phone or device or anything for 4G until they take away the data caps. Fuck your data caps. I want 150 gig a month of YouTube videos.
Yeah, that does suck. I'm actually have that problem with my AT&T service I have now on my iPhone. My whole family shares a plan that had 10 gig for 4 people, and I would chew through 5 or 6 gig of that myself.
When I was on T-Mobile, I never got capped or what's the other word? Had my speed drawn back. And on Metro PCS, which is basically a piggyback of Verizon, I believe, on their network, I don't get capped either. Now, when I was on Verizon, I got capped all the fucking time. I hated that. And AT&T, we all know the deal with them, so
yeah.
I can tell you how bad they suck.
Right, and so every gig that we would go over 10 gig, I would have to pay like $10 for every gig I went over. So we actually just upped the plan to 12 gig now, which I still probably will chew through that. Like, let me see how much data I've already used this month, this billing cycle. I have an app that tells me.
First of all, it's ridiculous. It's just
I've already
ridiculous.
used 4.8 gig out of my entire family's 12 gig plan. 4.8 just myself.
I think it's ridiculous for them to be capping anywhere near 10 gigs. First of all, like HD, they advertise those devices for you to watch high
HD,
definition video.
Yeah.
And you can eat through 10 gigs with 4 people, each watching say 2 movies easily.
Yep.
For the whole month.
Yep. Right. Let me switch the scene back. Just a second.
I rebooted as recently as...
They won't be able to hear you.
No.
I am. All right, go ahead.
Okay, so I rebooted as recently as Monday. I have already received 11.8 gigs. I'd already be through your 12 gigs. I transmitted 1.77 gigs.
Yeah, like, without going too deep into internet usage and policy, I think the phone companies are worse than the cable companies when it comes to their policies. It's just stupid. It's tyrannical.
And I did a successful stream on Sunday. The video file is 5.4 gigs, and it's just a copy of what I upload during the stream.
Yeah, like they point out, like there's Netflix, HBO Go, YouTube. Like, you'd have to be in the Stone Ages of technology not to be using any of those things, which they clearly advertise on any of their sites. is that's what the devices do. You watch videos and stream stuff on mobile devices these days. I mean, what else do you do? Why else would you even have a 5-inch screen?
Why else would you even have 4G, period?
Exactly. It doesn't take that much for text messages. Last time I checked.
The really stupid thing about this is Sprint was originally backed by the Clear network for 4G. They didn't own the network.
Right. Sprint bought Clear.
Yeah. So now Rover is dead. Rover was the spin-off of Clear.
I had Clear, actually.
Clear is dead. They're directing you back to Sprint, and both Rover and Clear had unlimited 4G data plans.
Old, but it still works.
Yeah, and now you can't get an unlimited 4G data plan through Sprint. So what the fuck?
Yeah, I don't know.
We're still talking about data plans?
Yes, we are.
I know this is too much to ask for, but I would hope that the politicians get their thumbs, all of their thumbs out their assholes, and do something. Like, it's fucking ridiculous. Do something. Anything. Something.
When they're being paid so much to fuck us over, do you really think they're going to turn down money?
I mean, yeah, I understand that, but that's a whole different conversation. Politics and money should definitely not mix. But whatever. Yeah. It is what it is.
Right. All right. Moving along, we have our next topic, and I do realize the show has been going on now. We're at an hour and 38-minute mark, which is our longest show so far, I believe. But we do still have one more topic to cover, and it's a big one. We kind of touched on it a little bit in the beginning of the show, and it's the gigantic Steam Exploration sale. It started today. So all you gamers out there, go spend the monies at the Steams. They got so many sales right now. It's ridiculous. And the other huge thing is that Steam for Linux just officially reached 800 games. Yeah, you heard me right. I said 800 Linux games. And actually, a Reddit user has pointed out that it's really 811 games. This is just fantastic news as far as I'm concerned. And according to this person that's, querying the Steam database and whatnot, he's determined, or it's showing that 763 of them are confirmed as working. Now, I don't really know exactly what that part means. Confirmed as working. I'm going to the link right now to see, what that means. I think it's an Excel file. Let's see. Products that have... Okay, the Steam OS and Linux products on Steam. This is steamdb.info/Linux. And there's 700, products that are confirmed to work, 766. Products that have hints of Linux support, 227. So if you add those two together, that's probably the 811 number that, I just said before.
So when I go to Steam and do Steam OS plus Linux and weed it down to games, meaning basically get rid of video trailers, demos, mods, and packs, they have 814 showing now.
So after this article or whatever was documented, apparently there's been 3 games added. Look at that shizzle. Yeah, so I linked. You guys can see it in the podcast notes. It links to an Excel file that you can sort by various. I don't really know how the sorting works, but it's a crazy ass Excel file. It's pretty neat how it opens straight up. Well, it's a Google Doc basically, a spreadsheet created with Google Doc. Steam hardware links to the Steam hardware survey. This is just awesome, in my opinion. 800. I mean, confirmed games working, 766 games. So next time that, you tell someone that you use Linux and they're like, oh, but there's no games for Linux. You can tell them there's only 766.
No, I just say there's only 800
Yeah, right?
plus.
Right. I mean, Atomic himself, I think out of all of us, has the largest Steam library.
Out of the three of
Linux.
us?
Yeah. It's what, three... What is it again? You always brag about it.
Let's look at it. 380 in total, and 205 on Linux.
Jesus, dude.
Some of them are waiting, because, I know they're going to hit Linux eventually, because...
To put it in perspective, that's nearly 1,000. We'll say it's 1,000 because I hate math. And there's about 4,000 games on Steam altogether. So that's nearly a quarter.
A quarter of the library. Wow. Or a quarter of the Steam database. A quarter of Steam is Linux games.
And
there's a lot more games than just 4,000 on Steam. They're closing in on 10.
Really? Where is it?
Whoa.
I'm looking at Steam. Sorry.
The numbers on the website aren't very accurate, because it was actually reporting like 500 games for Linux back when there was only like 200 to actually find on there. It's not giving accurate numbers. I'm looking at
steamdb.info.
I saw a number that was fairly accurate, but I can't remember where it came from. I think it might have been Valve or someone doing the spreadsheet in the database, but they were putting the number at 7,000, and that was sometime early last year. We have had non-stop releases every single day on Steam.
It's funny that you say that, because there's a Polygon article that says Steam has already released more games in 2014 than in 2013. That was May 18th.
What? So by May of 2014, they had already released more games in those 5 months than they did in all of 2013.
Correct.
Wow. That's impressive.
The reason I say it has to be over 10,000 is because a lot of publishers are now dumping their back catalogs. So you are getting some calf in there, but there's been a lot of new releases too.
Yep, there's definitely no shortage of games.
Yeah.
Nearly 5 million people online, according to SteamCharts.com.
Yep.
Wow.
Well, you know what I have to say to all this?
I still stand by the fact that there needs to be. This is great. It's an awesome milestone. Now, if we can get those AAA titles to come out within at least a relevant period of when they come out on the other platform, then we'll be talking. Maybe some actual real something that you can measure, as in gamer migration.
Yeah, I mean, the Softpedia, the original article that I linked to was from Softpedia, and they point out that what was it here? Or maybe it wasn't even this article, but that really the only... Oh, yeah, it was. Okay, the only really big publisher that's really showed the interest, in Linux gaming is 2K Games. And some of their titles in the portfolio are Borderlands, all Borderlands except for one wasn't ported yet. And then Civilization 5 and Beyond Earth is just around the corner, apparently. So 2K
our BioShock Infinite port.
Yeah, right.
I mean, I've already played the game, but I want to get those last few achievements. I'd like to do it in Linux.
Right. According to this article, some Linux users have expressed their skepticism about the success of the platform, and it's easy to understand why. But according to them, Steam for Linux has approximately 1.2% of the market share.
Which is roughly the same percentage of the desktop market share.
Right.
So it balances quite evenly.
On the other hand, things have started to change in the Linux ecosystem. Hardware builders are now providing much better drivers. People are working with a lot more passion and interest in OpenGL. Companies like NVIDIA started to port their middleware tools for Linux. And there's great interest in the community to see the open source platform as a multimedia-oriented OS. That was all basically right from the article. So if I sounded like I was reading it, I was. But I mean, but it's all true. All that is true. NVIDIA just released, the capability, if you didn't compile your own NVIDIA module for your kernel, they just released to the average Linux user, driver 346.16, which now allows you to use the NVENC built-in hardware encoder, which is awesome. So, I don't know. I mean, I think this brings up some great points about, the interest. Like we even mentioned earlier in the show about how Mesa development 10.5, is seeing improved graphical support for AMD. So,
two things.
Yeah.
Two things. I more importantly than gaming on Linux, I think games being released on Linux opened the door to conversation that probably would not have been opened before, which is what the article mentions, like OpenGL development, porting stuff to an open source platform, and a number of different topics that probably would never have been thought of or talked about if Valve had never set down this path. So that is a excellent point, and hopefully as those topics grow bigger, I guess Linux and gaming, or gaming on Linux in its toe. And also Trey Sanders wants to know what we think about Steam boxes.
Shizzle, go ahead. You guys go first.
Well, I want to see it happen. I mean, they showed us a mini ITX computer with a 780 in it. I'm like, I want that. Hell, I'll buy a TV to plug that into. Just sell it to me.
Yeah, I think
Shut up
and
take my money.
Right. Me personally, I did a YouTube video on the original Steam box, or at least a particular Steam box that was given to someone else, and they broke it down and tore it apart and looked at what was all inside. I did a YouTube video on it covering it, and I think in that particular one, it did have a 780. Me personally, what I think about the Steam box is, I get the idea behind it. I get the premise. I just don't think... I think it's too late. I think they needed to release the Steam box around the same day that the new consoles came out. And I think Valve missed the mark here. Or not maybe Valve, but... the hardware manufacturers that are working with Valve to create these Steam boxes, I think they missed the mark. Because the consoles now have gained... a foot in the market, and people are not going to spend another $500-600 on another console. They just bought their console, right? That's my opinion.
I think they will.
He asked for our opinion, so that's mine.
I think at least in a place like North America, I can't speak for nobody else, because I know some places have like ridiculously exorbitant taxes, and buying multiples of things is not a thing. But we have a lot of disposable income in North America. And I think,
some of us do.
What is this?
Well, in general.
Yeah, right.
in general, I mean, like even somebody who's in financial poverty has a 45-inch, a 42-inch TV. So
good point.
Yeah. North America, I think they will spend it if it's a thing. And there has been over a dozen manufacturers that have been already ready to release their version of the Steam Machine. Valve is the holdup here. I'm not sure why. I can't comment on that. I don't know why. But there's like the Alienware, the Alpha Majigger thingy, that was supposed to be a Steam Machine. They were ready to release that months ago. There's no official Steam Machine, so they can't call it that. iBuyPower had one.
Yep.
There were several. And
Right. Yep. They all got debuted at CES.
Yeah, exactly.
I believe that was in January. Yeah, that was 10 months ago, 11 months ago.
Yeah,
almost a year, almost a year ago now.
Right. So the manufacturers were ready for this. What made this so great was that you can put now a reputable gaming PC in front of a person without that boutique or pre-built price premium, because they would have to make these things competitive with the console, of course, somewhat at least, like within the margin, and it would get people on Linux, even if they didn't know. If they did know or didn't know is irrelevant. They'd be on it. They'd be on.
Right. Yeah, that's true. Right.
A free platform.
Yeah, I just linked you. I linked you guys to the Terra part that Fixit did. The teardown, I should say, that iFixit did.
I'm pretty sure I've already looked at that.
Well, right, you probably did. Yep.
And while they're on this free platform, that would also encourage OpenGL development, which needs to be encouraged, and freedom across platforms. So if they're doing OpenGL, that obviously will swing into I think PlayStation uses some form of it. Obviously mobile phones do. Lots of things except for the Xbox and Windows use OpenGL. So it has a lot of ramifications if it were to happen, but I am very skeptical if it would happen. I don't know if you would call this thing a console or where you want to classify it or where they're trying to even target it. But the console market is a very, very hard place to live in. Ask Sega, if anybody remembers them, and they were a powerhouse in the console market.
Right. I mean, what do you think Valve's waiting for? Better hardware support?
Their excuse is like they're revamping, they're fixing the controller. The controller went from this amazing like touchscreen awesomeness to now it's just a regular controller again. So I don't know what Valve is waiting. I can't really question Valve because I feel like Valve makes almost all excellent decisions. But I guess we'll just have to wait and see on that.
Valve, what are you doing? I want the controller that you originally showed.
Yeah, now it looks just like some plasticky crap.
Wait,
which screen, haptic feedback, all that good.
Are you guys looking at what I just linked you for the Steam controller?
I was. This is from the latest version of the Steam controller. I didn't look at the one that you showed me.
Take a look at this.
The one that I'm looking at, it says store.steam.powered.com.
Yeah, that's the original one.
Yeah, that's the original.
Then why
they're not making that anymore? You see that touch screen? That's being replaced by 4 buttons.
Yeah.
Where are you guys looking? This is right on their website.
The website's wrong.
And this is old. This is how it looked way back when.
Right. If you here's an Engadget one from July 23rd.
Hey, Ubu, look down the page and you'll see one with a wire in it, and somebody holding it, and in place of the touchscreen is 4 buttons. That's what it's starting to look like now.
Yep.
All right.
I think there's even a D-pad on it now. Or no, it's a thumb thing. There's a little thumb.
I think does it look like this? I mean, I'm not quite sure why Steam's own website you're telling me has the wrong controller, but anyway.
Web developer needs to be fired.
Is this the new Steam controller design? Adds analog support. I mean, analog stick. This was from July. Okay, all right. I don't think it looks that different. I mean, the LCD in the middle is gone.
Different.
Here we go.
Are you blind?
It's much different, but this is from I don't know.
Well, anyway, so to the person that, was asking, what we thought of the Steam boxes, that was my opinion. You heard Osiris gave you his, and Atomic, yours was throwing money at the monitor, at the screen.
Yes.
Okay.
Shut up and take my money.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want it to happen.
I won't be, but I want it to happen too, but I wouldn't buy one.
No, I don't see the point. I really don't. I can make my own.
I already have one.
Right.
I'm using it to stream right now, and it's also a Steam box. All I do is click in the Steam window and say big picture mode, and done. That's a Steam box.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not. It's based on. I believe it's based on Debian though, instead of Ubuntu.
Well,
Steam OS, right? Okay, yeah.
I believe Steam OS, according to Valve, here's a thing something. Steam OS is, according to Valve, also supposed to be getting a bunch of features. So like, what is it called? Netflix and all that stuff. Some streaming music stuff. It's supposed to be coming to Steam OS. And I don't know if that's going to be just on Steam OS or will it be incorporating the big picture mode. But I would think it would be only on Steam OS. But we'll see. But I don't think Steam OS is anything without an actual machine. Like, it's kind of pointless.
Right.
I guess it's kind of... No, I guess there would be a point. Like, if you're a type of guy who makes XBMC boxes or you want that type of big screen functionality and you're making your own thing, maybe it's a thing.
Wait, how big is this file?
What file?
I'm downloading SteamOS image.zip.
Probably about a gig.
I just wanted to see.
I tried it in a virtual machine. Yeah, it's pretty boring. It's not much to see there.
It's 2.3 gig. Wow, it's gotten pretty big. This is from store.steampowered.com/steamos/download.
Does it come with a free game now?
Yeah, right.
Half-Life 3 confirmed.
Yeah, and I mean somebody's already taken SteamOS, right, and already forked it.
I'm pretty sure. There was a guy who fixed some of the
originally
issues.
Yeah, originally you couldn't install it. Like, you had to have a dedicated hard drive where the installer would just wipe out your hard drive. You have no choice to install it on a particular partition, stuff like that. That's what that guy had fixed, right? Or made it so you could choose a particular partition. So he basically recoded the installer a little bit, I guess.
And he fixed a couple issues. Like, it wanted to have 500 gigs for whatever reasons. And
right. It would tell you couldn't install it because your hard drive wasn't 500 gig.
Right.
What's that even called?
Do you even hard drive, bro?
Do you
What's what called?
The rewrite of it, do you know?
I don't remember the name of it. Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, so that pretty much covers everything that we wanted to talk about during the show today. It was a 2-hour show, a little longer than we normally do. For those of you that, think it's too long, I apologize. We went way over, but I thought it went pretty good today, and I appreciate each and every one of you as a viewer and a supporter of the show. We're always looking for ways to improve our show and improve, anything that we can. So we take your feedback. If you'd like to provide us constructive criticism, more than willing to listen to that. You can contact us. Most of us prefer Twitter. That's probably the easiest way to get a hold of us, at least for the initial contact, and then if it's going to be something longer, if we so choose, we might give you an email, or we might, give you a TeamSpeak or a Mumble to get into to communicate with us if that's needed, whatever. So, you can obviously see our Twitter handles right on the screen, right below our names. We do have a Steam group that I personally really haven't been too active in it, but the purpose of a Steam group is it just automatically, I think, updates with what we're doing, right? If you join a group, it doesn't it or no?
Just sort of.
Well, yeah.
It should tell. Yeah, it tells me like what I've been playing and stuff, right? No. Yes.
No, I don't know. I don't really.
Like
know
if you go to the Steam group,
he made it and he doesn't know what it is.
Yeah, right. If you go to the Steam group, our Steam group, Linux Tech and Gaming, and you click on it, you can see all the members that are part of it. We have 17 members so far, and there's there's discussions on there. What I was kind of getting at is, does a Steam group, like, update what games we're playing, and I'm guessing it does not. Okay. There is a curator tab.
Yeah.
The curator tab is for games that we recommend. So did you guys do this?
I did. Yeah, I did that.
Oh, you did it. Okay.
I think Atomic did a couple too.
Okay.
No, I haven't been able to curate on it, actually. That was, I keep forgetting to mention that to you.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll get that fixed later.
All right. Yeah. So
I'm gonna post the link in the chat right now, so if you guys want to go check that
to the
out.
Steam group. Yeah, do that. I didn't even realize. That's awesome. We got 17 members in there. Have you been updating the link that's to the latest podcast, Osiris?
Not lately, no.
All right. No, I was just curious. I guess I thought I didn't know exactly what a Steam group did. I thought maybe that it, put somewhere on one of these tabs, like, what are the members doing lately? What games have they been playing lately? But I was wrong about that. You can find that out because you can see who all the members are, and then you click on that person's profile, and it takes you to their Steam profile. In that point, then you find out what games they like or they're playing. So anyway, we have a Steam group. Check it out. If you want to join, that'd be awesome. Currently, like I said, we have 17 members in there. And Osiris is kind of the admin of it.
Just
Popular,
a place to hang
out. Place to hang out. And a popular discussion currently is poop.
Yeah, we're really deep into poop, and we're probably aficionados, according to this discussion group.
Yeah. So right, poop. Nothing happens. So how often do you poop? Whenever I get horny is one of the first comments. That's awesome. Come and join our Steam group so you can talk about poop. Anyway, all right, that's
something we can all relate to, though.
Yeah, for sure. Pooping is, it's got to be done. It's something that's required, and some people enjoy it. Others, are disgusted by it. So that's going to cover it for the show. Thank you again for everybody coming. I really appreciate, again, thank you. We're going to do the show regardless of having viewers because we enjoy talking about the latest Linux tech and gaming information. It just makes it so much better when we have viewers and we can interact with you guys. I get enjoyment out of that. I can't speak for Atomic and Osiris, but, so I can't thank you enough for coming to the show and watching it, supporting us. It means a lot to me, basically, and I might start crying, so we're going to have to end the show here.
All them feels.
Yes, all the feels. And that's going to do it for this week. Hopefully we will see you guys back next week, Wednesday, at 7 p.m.
Central Standard Time.
Central Standard Time. Later, guys. Oh, don't forget, on the YouTubes, all of our handles for all of our social media links, live streams, all that, it's in the description. Later, guys.